Hello, welcome to R&R, where bad media from the past needs a beating. Well, it's finally here, people! I'm finally reviewing the sequel to this assy kid show. The second season of Digimon. Unlike the other series, this one is the only one that's in the same canon as the first one. I don't plan on reviewing season 3 like Digimon Timers, Frontier, and Data Squad because this may not shock you at all. I thought they were total garbage. And plus, they were actually, more popular and gained more attention around my time, and I basically just did not really, pay any attention to it. At all. In fact, it gets even so bad that I just do not have enough room to just fill out all the negative commentary on this. So, without further ado, let's get started on what is appropriately titled Digimon 02. Okay, so the story kicks off 3 years later. Well, even though the dub says it's 4 years later, and I don't know where to start. See, I probably explained to you this before, on how fucked up they screwed up the timeline when they translated this season to the West. You saw how annoyed I got. And in the second season, 3 years have passed. But wait, the internet cried out. The profiles and timeline are different in the dub. And would you believe it, the characters are a year older in season 1 and 2 years older in season 2, which takes place 4 years later and are now in high school! You know what? And because of that, I'm actually gonna start like a new counting gag on how many times they screw up the timeline.
Summer in the digital world. Ty's in high school. My brother Matt's trying to be a rock star. Sora's become quite a tennis player. Izzy's in high school too. Mimi and her folks moved to New York. And Joe's still studying to be a doctor.
Like, the show, I mean, for God's sake, the show is called 02. As if it actually was to take place in the year 2002, which is, in a sense, telling the viewers that it takes place 2 years in the future from when the show aired, which was in the year 2000. I mean, I've never seen basically a more poorly acronymed sequel title since Decidia Duodecima 012. And if you haven't guessed already, this is TK narrating the story. He and his mom just moved into a new apartment, and he's about to start his first day of school, it seems like. And he meets a new neighbor in the apartment, Yoli and Cody.
Great! My name's TK and my mom and I just moved into this building. I'm in 7th grade, Class A.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not your grade level, because in Japan, kids in middle school typically are wearing uniforms, which doesn't seem to be the case here. And he meets a new kid named Davis, who he almost mistaken to be Ty. Mainly because he was wearing the same pilot goggles. Interesting note there, the pilot goggles are actually a key trademark to every single protagonist in the Digimon series. I mean, what's the reason behind this? Does everyone want to keep the pilot goggles that Ty had? Like, it's passed down to just different random kids, like, oh, you're the new leader of the digital world. Here's a pair of random goggles. Don't ask! Don't ask! So the kids discuss their adventure about the digital world. Then they decide to access it through their school's computer. Okay, why can't they just do it at home when they just know that their computer has a special proxy server or whatever programmed to go into a virtual reality?
That's impossible. Not just anybody can go, you know. You need a digivice. Listen, TC, if you can go, so can I. What's this? A digivice.
Okay, how the hell did their personal computers at school in their computer lab had a program that could just take them into a whole different parallel world that only they knew about? In fact, how were they able to get a software on there that was not even approved by their education system? Because I remember when I was in elementary, middle, and high school, they only had programs that were approved by the school itself.
Hey, I wonder if the digital world's open on Saturdays. Then it's all your fault. Why didn't you let her go first?
Hey, guys, it's an email from Kari.
Uh-huh.
It says, don't worry, I'm all right, and I'm sorry if any words are misspelled.
I brought my best foot forward.
After rediscovering the digital world, they found out that it's being under the tyranny of this kid who's known as the Digimon Emperor. We'll get to his alter ego later. And we find out the 3 new kids get new clothes every time they enter the digital world, while everyone else just stays dressed the same. I mean, what, did the magical Digi-World Porter just magically undress them, and then before just dumping them out in the digital world, and then doing the same thing when they got back to the real world in their normal clothes? However, these 3 new kids have to go under different tasks to obtain their Digimon, which means that they have to lift up a certain object that their crest is affiliated with. Yoli, on the other hand, is actually a unique example, as she was intended to be a combination between Sora and Mimi, and thus she has a combination of the crest of sincerity and love, but somehow just turns out as the crest of love.
It's just no use.
We'll never be able to move them.
I don't understand. I couldn't budge the Digi-Egg with the crest of courage on it, but somehow Davis moved it with no problem.
What, do these special devices have, like, special magnets in there that could, seemingly detect which person's trying to pull them out of the ground? Or like, oh, wrong person! I have to superglue myself to the ground! Oh, right person! I am now light as a feather! What's the purpose behind this? How does it work? Oh, I forgot to talk about the brand new Digimon opening. When they digivolve. Not only is it longer, it's actually defines what they are every time they digivolve. Let me play it.
The fire of courage. Pegasusmon, flying hope.
I mean, do you really have to describe what they are every time they digivolve? It makes it more annoying. Imagine if I did this. Marley Onama, an internet reviewer, screams a lot at terrible media. Angel, a spoiled Italian greyhound who's soft like Pussy Willow and sleeps a lot. It's like if the narrator actually feels that the audience is mentally challenged and forgetful, that he has to explain who they are and what they do every single time. As the new Digidescents go into the digital world, the old ones occasionally tag along too and actually help them with advice and whatnot. There's very little explanation on why they ditched their crests, while TK and Kari just held on to theirs. Well, mainly had to deal with life changes and one of them moving overseas. And that is Mimi, thank God. However, she's not as annoying as she once was. Even though when we first see her, she looks like an underage hooker with pink hair and stars super glued to her hair.
Something tells me those aren't taillights in a parking lot.
Princess Mimi! Princess Mimi! Princess Mimi! Princess!
Relax.
Oh, sweet lord, I forgot about the green Jar Jar fuckers. Okay, I'm cutting back to the Digimon Emperor. He turns out to be this guy named Ken, who's an art student and a star athlete, and him and his parents are even on the news. And even the news reporter is actually, and it's actually very creepy that the news reporter is actually kind of advertising him as an underage playboy.
Talents include being able to play one game of chess while everyone watches. Just last week, he actually balanced the world's biggest checkbook. And that's not all. He's a champion in judo and a star on the all-state soccer team. And girls, he's single. Now let's talk to the proud parents who raised this genius.
His plan, what he's doing now in the digital world, actually, aside from the evil wristband,
Still, you pile of scrap metal! Gold rush! Hey, that comment about scrap metal was just a joke.
there's now these black obelisk things called control spires,
Make that an obelisk.
which the kids actually track down through these new digivices, and also a little mini program on their computer called Minesweep. The dub just screwed it up. I mean, they're just probably as annoying as 4Kids. However, a lot like this one, they also edited out a bunch of things. Because I actually thought that was pretty stupid, because at first I thought this was actually ridiculous because North America had a more conservative culture. But as I looked, that's not the case. I actually learned that English translated anime is often geared towards a younger audience than it was originally intended to in Japan. In Japan, it was usually geared towards an older audience. But in America, they just decided to just edit it, not because they're more conservative, but to cash out on kids, because apparently children make up a much bigger market. This is the problem of corporate capitalism. Insert anti-big government joke here.
Listen, TC, if you can go, so can I.